So I remember when I was little, I was about 6 years old. Like on Christmas, I'd come down the stairs with my brother, and he was one at the time. He's 5 years younger, and I would come down the stairs. There would be so many Christmas presents, like across the floor. I mean, all the way. I couldn't even get to the tree. It was so many presents, and I remember that with life, my life when it was, the short time that it was normal. Um, it it sticks out to me so much, you know, just that short period of time that I can remember from being such a young age. But it was a happiness that I've, I've I believe I've looked for ever since I lost that happiness, which was right after, shortly after that. My mom and my dad, my dad was an electrical engineer. My mother was a professional fighter, and then she pursued, after she had me, she pursued being a veterinarian, and it was it was a very good household. It was very nice house. Me and my brother had our own rooms. They were great. Had everything we needed, and very nice things. We had more toys we knew what to do with. And I just remember, you know, things started to get rough. Um, it was in 1987, and my dad, he was rough with me. He started putting his hands on me pretty heavy at a very young age, and I've seen that deteriorate, that happiness that I had seen from, like, just remembering the Christmases and the holidays. And um, my mom, my dad started getting into fights, and they would be, pretty physical. Um, my mom and my dad were both big people, tall, just good sized people. And I remember one of my mom's last words was, "Rudy," speaking of my dad, because I'm a junior, um, "Rudy, you're 37, he's 7. You can't beat him like a man." And then we would have photographs at holiday time like that, and in the background of the walls, there would be like holes in the wall from where either my mom or my dad's hand went, or my mom put my dad's head through the wall because, like I said, she used to be a professional fighter, and she wasn't no pushover when it come to putting hands on her kids. And so when brother came along, it you know the happiness was there, and I was so happy I had a little brother and everything. But I seen things starting to deteriorate, and then it came. I remember it like it was yesterday. Uh, my dad was yelling, "Sharon, Sharon," which is my mother's name, Sharon Leanne Coker. She, Sharon, Sharon, and I come running out of the bedroom. I'm like, "Dad, what are you yelling?" And I look down on the ground, and there's my mother. And at 31 years of age, she was having a heart attack. Um, my little brother's screaming in his crib, so my dad yells at me, "Go get your brother." My little brother, Big Show, he's reaching over the crib, trying to, like, for his big brother, and I'm barely tall enough to get over the crib, and he's a big boy, and I, get him up out of there. Got to get little bro out of there. So he starts crying. I'm holding him. He's, like I said, he was big. Anybody knows my brother? He was big from the beginning, big baby and all. So I'm holding him, and I walk back into the room, and my mother's still on the ground, and my dad's like slapping her, like, Sharon, wake up, Sharon, Sharon, Sharon. And then he's talking on the phone and to the paramedics, and they, my grandparents showed up, my mom's parents, and some other people, the family members, and I don't remember distinctly. Everyone who was there was turmoil at that point, and I remember them wheeling my mother out on a stretcher, and I didn't get to go to the hospital. And I've got my little brother with me. He's crying the whole time, just holding on to me like no tomorrow, and which is probably what he felt. And they took her to the hospital, and I stayed with my grandpa, with my mom's dad, Bubba. I stayed with Bubba and my little brother. I remember sitting on the floor just waiting, and it seemed like eternity, and it seemed, I mean, like forever. And I was sitting there just crying and crying and crying, and I'm thinking about where this big pretty tree was, and these moments are all flashing back, and I'm taking mine. I'm just now, uh, 6, 7 years old, and I was seven. Excuse me. And I'm picturing these moments, and all flashing back, and then I look around the room, and everything's dark because it was nighttime when this happened, and everything was just like, I just remember, like, what is happening. And then everybody that went to the hospital, they all start coming back, and I'm so happy. I'm like, okay, now let me ask Mama what happened to her, because this is wild. Like, little bro wants to know, he's reaching for Mama, and I'm reaching for Mama, and Mama doesn't walk in the door. And I said, hold on. I said, where's Mama? Is she driving? What is she in another car? Is she not here yet? He said, Rudy, baby, your mama's not coming home. Your mama went to see the Lord. Now, I just stopped right there, and I felt like my life, I didn't know. My dad was, I don't know how to say it. My dad was he was a good man. He was a rough man. He was a rough man on me. So, like, it was hard for me to reach for him because he had already started, pretty much beating me up and stuff. And I was just like, he was kind of distant. So, like, the grandparents were, like, embracing us, this and that. And I'm just like, what do you mean she's not coming home? And then I went and I just listened to everybody, and they all started hugging me, and and I'm the whole time. You gotta understand this bond. When I say about me and my brother, which I'll talk more about it as we go on in time, but you guys will get to know that from the jump, it was me and my brother, and like whenever they would hold him, like this and that, from that moment on, I had to know where he was at. I had to know, like, if I didn't see him, I felt like Mama wasn't there. I had to watch him, and Dad was doing everything he could to uphold the household and this and that. And at that moment, it was just complete chaos. And I don't think from that moment on I was right ever since. Uh, that's when that's when those perfect memories disappeared, and I never seen them again. And it to this day, I haven't seen the happiness that I remember from before that point in time.